While we may have done 90% of the work on this van ourselves, and we're about 90% done, we're not professionals. So please consult a professional with all your questions, and remember to wear the proper safety gear, including the Crocs. Hey guys, it's day 4 of the van build. And today's job is we're going to try to install a 2-person bench seat in the van for the kids to ride in. The bench seat I'm using, which I'll show you later, is out of a passenger Ford Transit. It's a 36-inch wide model that has the built-in armrest and has the recline feature, or it leans back a little bit. It's not a full recline, but it's probably the easiest thing to install, most readily available, most cost-effective. And what's nice is it uses factory Ford OEM seat rails or tracks, which I've purchased. Because my van's a cargo though, right, I have to make a couple modifications and then drill through the floor and bolt these in. So the first thing we need to do is cut off a couple of little tabs that are on these. I'll show you. So if you can see here, this little tab there, this one on this end, same thing. Those got to get cut off. On the passenger models, from what I understand, they have an extra hole in the floor to kind of align where these go, and they kind of just sit in there. I don't have that option, so we're just going to cut them off. Okay, so I have the floor rails just sitting on the floor right now. I put some tape under each spots because they're undoubtedly going to get moved front and back and side to side to get in the right position, and I was just trying to avoid scratching up the floor too much. I did spray with Rust-Oleum the 2 little exposed metal areas after we cut those tabs off. May as well just do everything you can to avoid any rust buildup. We got the front seat swiveled, turned around. And so once we mock up the seat sitting here, we'll sit in the front driver and kind of see how close our knees are to each other and try to get it in the perfect position.
I need space. Alright, so it probably needs to come back with like...
Alright, so we're coming to you from underneath the van because we now need to lower the gas tank in order to get to the location where one of the seat rails will drill through and bolt through. We're trying to identify exactly where the seat rails are based off the dimples in the floor. It's rather comical at the moment, but we'll figure it out in a moment. I think we're getting ourselves lined out.
Right. And also, like to mention, I drove it one day till at about 18 miles left till empty. So there should be like about under 2 gallons in there of gas. So it should be pretty light.
Yeah, hopefully it's pretty light. And I've heard you don't have to really disconnect anything off the tank. So don't drop it all the way to the ground. Drop it most of the way onto some blocks or something, and most of all the lines are long enough to stay attached, is the theory. We will find out. Hopefully it's true.
Right.
All right.
Well, can I get out so you can? Can I get out so you can finish it, or like do?
Roll out that way.
No, there's no covering.
So the lighting's pretty poor under here in small spaces. All the bolts that hold this on are 13 millimeter. So I'm just getting them all broke loose. And then from there I'll kind of do one by hand. Slowly start dropping it and then add some supports. You have basically 4 bolts per side. Luckily they're all decent to get to. The ones closer to the drive shaft probably need an extra long extension, but shouldn't be too difficult. This one, spin around again. Do the spin around thing.
All right, so the seat's not going as quick as we thought it would, so he is doing some final measurements, and then we're going to kind of call it a night until tomorrow, and then we'll probably be drilling some holes tomorrow. But we have to make sure that everything's adding up with the brackets underneath the van, and we don't mess with it, the structure of the van too. So a little longer, but that's okay. We're losing daylight, so we want to start cleaning up, and we'll pick you guys up tomorrow. So it'll be like day 4.5 for the van build.
The following day.
So we're back at it again on the bench seat for the boys to sit in. As you know, it got too dark for us to keep filming yesterday and kind of abandoned what we were doing. We knew we had to move the rails back and over maybe an inch each direction to clear some of the framework of the van below. I think we got it spot on now, so I'm going to drill a pilot hole to see. So we had the seat in place the whole time. We were measuring everything to keep the rails square. Then we used Gorilla Tape and put the rails down and took the seat out. So hopefully they stayed square, and this is what it looks like. So I'll drill a pilot hole on one of them to start with, see how that lands, do it on the other one, see where that lands. Then from there, I'll just double check the measurements underneath, knowing the spacing of the holes. Make sure we're going to clear the rest of the way, which we should be. And if we do, then I'll do a pilot bit on all of them, then hit it with the larger bit, and then get going on everything else.
That one went a little longer.
I was trying to make sure I didn't punch through too deep.
Got it.
The gas tank is plenty clear, but just still in my head I didn't want to just drive the drill all the way down. So those are the frontmost sections we're going to bolt. I know the spacing to the next one and the next holes. So I'm going to go lay underneath and see where those fell. So there's the frontmost hole. Measuring back, the next one I'm going to do is going to be on this side of that pillar. Then we'll have 2 here. The farthest back hole is 21.5 inches from the front hole, and that lands, I think, too close to this pillar to use. It might be able to get used, but I'm not overly confident.
So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts through on each bracket. For the one above the gas tank, it was a good thing we moved it over towards the wall of the van, the driver's side wall more, because it is fairly close to the joist running this way. See if we can't show you. It's hard to tell, my hand's gonna block the way. It's right over there. We'll try it with the other hand. So the other hole ended up right over there in the corner. We'll come back 6 3/4, 12 3/4, 14 3/4, and be able to fit the rest of the brackets up tight against that pillar running this way, that support beam. So that's why we had to move the seat back towards the back of the van and then over towards the driver's side, kind of almost an inch each way. I'm going through an extra seam over here, which is why it takes a second longer. Okay, I'm gonna go look at those before I drill them bigger. So on this middle more bracket, I'm drilling through basically an extra piece of metal. That's the center beam that runs underneath, you know, has a flange that comes up that's spot welded. I'm catching the edge of that as I go through. It's kind of extra thick to drill through. Well, this side here isn't, which is why those holes kind of went real quick. I don't have anything more proper than WD-40 to put just a little bit of coolant on this bit to try to help it go through. You saw it catching on me. Again, try not to just power through it and shove this bit all the way down and hit something. So I'm kind of holding off, but that's also letting it catch and bind up. Probably not the best way to do that. We have to file them a little bit to get that bolt through. We'll see. Yeah, gonna have to give them a little more attention. It'll go if they're cleaned up. Voila! Viola! It's exhausting. Okay. Clean them up. Put some Rust-Oleum on them. Measure out my steel brackets. I think they're 1.5 inches wide. I think I got 1/4 inch thick, which is going to be a challenge to drill. And I'll cut them to length because there's a support that runs here, so I can't have one continuous long one here. I could have two. Over here I can have one continuous long one. that'll be it. Okay, so I'm gonna cut a piece of 1.5 inch by 1/4 inch thick cold rolled steel into kind of long sections. These are going to act as like a, think of it like a washer, but something that's being longer and going across multiple bolts. It's going to have a little more integrity strength wise. However, I've seen on, I think it was on the Ford Transit forum, someone went to a dealer and crawled under a passenger model Transit to see how and where the bolts were for those seats. And on those, it appears that that kind of extra thick flanging that they use on those support braces, they basically, underneath the van that kind of creates the structure, they essentially have that's kind of spot welded and formed into just like a angle bracket at each bolt point. So it's only a few inches thick for each bolt point individually. What we're going to do is take this flat bar, 1.5 inch, 1/4 inch thick, and cut it into sections. On the one section, it's going to be near 20 inches long and have 4 bolts through it. That's going to be pressed on the underside of the van. So you can't have one bolt individually rip out because it has to rip all of this out. On the other side, because of a horizontal joist, we're going to have 2 basically 9.5 inch sections. So I'm going to cut them, go back under the van, hold them up, have Kirsten with a marker through the hole mark them. And I'm doing it that way because I know they're going to be pressed up tight against the side of the joist of the framework of the van underneath. So I'm not positive that they're going to land dead center. Hence why I need to put them under there and see where those dots land. I'll come back, drill them out, spray it all with Rust-Oleum, and then install all of it, hopefully. There's the 19.5 inch piece, or 19 inch piece, and here's my 2 9.5s. Now I'll go hold them under the van, mark where the holes are, come over to the drill press, drill them. Hopefully that's just not too difficult. Spray them, and install. So we got all these drilled. Now we're gonna clean them up a little bit, kind of wipe off all the coolant stuff we use when we're drilling. We'll spray them with Rust-Oleum, let those dry, clean up our tracks over here too, and then we'll be ready to bolt it all together.
And then our 2-seater will become a
4-seater.
4-seater.
Okay.
Seats are bolted in, and we're going on our first ride to go get our flooring in the van.
We're coming to you.
Oh.
What?
Is the emergency brake on?
Hope so.
I don't think it is. You backed it up, so
Then
it must be.
you gotta put it on.
Wrong time to be asking that question.